for you, and then, well, not fast, but in the metric way that it should sound. And then what I'll do is I'll slow it down and explain what I'm doing, okay? So it's going to be... Just speeding it up. So first we would just do single paradiddle. Okay, so right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left. So you're noticing it as on the first right and the first left that I'm accenting on the hat. Okay, and then I'm matching with my kick on that. So. Faster and faster from there, and do whatever you'd like. That's more of an exercise really than a groove. If you want to play a paradiddle groove, cool little one is just. So I'm just putting the second kick on the first stroke of the second of the double part. So the second stroke of the doubles of the right hand. Okay, so. Just having fun speeding it up, but you can also do a little bit of some combos in there. So I was playing some 16ths in addition to so see how my hands are matching on some of those. So it just kind of gives a little different feel to it, and but just basing it nice and slow off of your paradiddle. Another good way of counting your syllables with single paradiddles, counting them in 16ths, 1 E and a, 2 E and a. So thinking of beat 1, accenting beat 1 and 2. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Okay, so that way it'll make it stand, and there's a purpose for that, and the rebound, and we'll get into that more in a later video, but it helps with the rebound and preparing your hands for when those doubles are going to come in, and then also making certain notes stand out, because everyone feels quarter notes, so you can anchor people around even something that, you know, it's like, whoa, that doesn't sound like a straight 8 or a stacked or, you know, a simple, you know, one like. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, that's a weird groove. Like that. How do I match with that? How do I anchor with that? Where's beat 1? What's going on? That kind of thing, you know." So if you just, you know, make sure you're phrasing with those accenting notes, then it kind of gives a little bit more of a different feel to it, and then the band will also be able to anchor. Oh, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. You know, and we're counting it in 2/4. So 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and okay. So then now I'll do a double paradiddle groove, okay, and this goes into playing in 6. So your first one can play 2/4, 4/4. So single paradiddle is good for using in those metrics, so 2/4, 4/4, and then your double paradiddle is just perfect for playing in 6. So remembering what your double paradiddle is now. So now you're just adding another single stroke in between your doubles. So right, left, 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 Okay, so now I'm going to change it and I'm going to put it over here on the groove, or on the hi-hat, and to change it into a groove. And you've heard me play embellished parts of this too. It's the one that goes into the... So that some of the coolest grooves are paradiddle based grooves. A lot of cool stuff, paradiddle based grooves. So using the double, if you're just starting it on the hi-hat, so. And I'm kind of just changing around, have a little bit of fun with it. But put it on the ride cymbal. And right now I'm just playing beat 1. But what we'll start to do is playing the and ones, and then we'll start playing. So it'll be. That's the ending part. So every 4 bars I'm just doing. So. Okay, so just kind of having some fun with it, and it turns into some cool stuff and some cool ghosts, and and playing open versus playing closed. So just another quick little lesson in playing, and using your singles and double paradiddles can, just because it's a rudiment or, an exercise, doesn't mean that you can't have fun with it and move it around the kit, turn it into grooves, and a lot of like really cool, linear grooves and stuff, or syncopated grooves are based off paradiddle stuff. Pretty cool stuff. So, and I'm a big fan of the one in double paradiddle playing in 6. More, but can move it really anywhere. And that's another important part is you want to try to get the shake array is what they usually refer to it, but keep your hi-hat independence going in through that too. Ideas there, guys, and it's just single and double paradiddles. Just it's all in the way you phrase it. It really is, and that's why that stick control, height, velocity, fine touch, power strokes, single strokes, doubles, paradiddles. A lot of people say paradiddles are most important rudiment. Your doubles and your paradiddles, because a lot of times, doubles especially will instantly show if what your technique's like, or and the way you practice is the way you're gonna play. So that's another thing is that's the discipline part of it, I guess, is well, I want to play this way and I like playing like this, and why can't I play like this? I'm getting the same sounds out, right, and that kind of stuff. Well, the reason is because you'll start to hurt, your muscles will start to ache. If you're just playing one 5-minute song, sure, okay, you can power through that. But if you're required to do that for 3 hours, and you're playing all like this and from the hit, and using your Roy and not using your back 3 fingers and all that, I promise you by the end of the night, you're like, oh, my arms feel like it's going to fall off, So that's why playing the back of the stick and relaxing, letting the stick do all the work for you. That's why you want to let the stick do all the work for you and take all the impact into the stick for you. Because if you hold it tight, then when you're hit, then the shock goes right up into your joints in your hand, versus letting the stick just bounce like a ball, and you're just controlling the teeter-totter motion, that flex motion of it, and playing the back of the stick. Now, none of the shock is going into my body whatsoever, and you can play fast like that. And you can, if you play French, you can play fast with your fingers like that too. So it just depends on, you know, where you're at and what angle, that kind of stuff. You know, and I said in another video, but it was like some people say, well, what's your favorite grip, or what grip do you use? And it's like, well, all of them, because depending on if I'm playing snare licks, and maybe I'm doing German. If I'm playing doubles, I'm German maybe. If I'm playing over here, naturally my range of motion is already coming over here, and my wrist is now in French position, right? So it depends on where your, you know, motion is going, where your sticks are headed, your height, your velocity, and what type of rudiments and note values you're using. So anyway, just explaining the reasons for why we try to emphasize the things that we do, or at least the things I was taught, and why they're important. And even though they might be frustrating or boring, or, you know, exercises, doesn't mean you can't turn it into something else. Like, just very fast, I'll play something. This is lesson 7 from Alfred's book 1 snare control, like the very first book you'll ever get as a drummer. The basic is just lesson 7, and I'll play it for you from memory, and just go 1 through 8, and I'll show you how that simple exercise in the book can turn into fills, solo, anything you want, okay? So the cadence of it is... looking at the camera, going crazy. But just trying to show you how something simple and an exercise can turn into something totally different, you know? So, and then you can use doubles with it. You know, just whatever. Closed stroke rolls with it, open strokes. Also, I like to use my one hand to accent those quarter note and eighth notes, and then just bring in the left hand when you're doing your 16th parts, because then it gives you a little bit more freedom, and you're using your dominant hand to do more of the accented notes, while then you're doing staccato notes with your left hand just to get cut to play the 16ths. Then you can also put it onto the bass drum. So see how just because it's an exercise, it's like, but once you know the cadence, and once you know the sticking, once you know the the note values and the syllable counts, and I've just played it so many times and taught it to other kiddos and stuff that I just have it memorized, and we ask our students to memorize it for that very reason, because then you have an immediate warm-up exercise you can do anywhere, on your legs, on a pad, whatever. And just to get your hands moving. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4. 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 E and a 1, 2 E and a 3, 4 E and up. So I just sang it for you too. So that way it's like, you know, if you have the syllables in your head, then you know how to get it out with your sticks also. So that's kind of, it's like thought reaction, and that's why we try to program our muscle memory, because then once you've done the homework and the studying and the training of your body, then it's like, okay, whew, that was rough, right? Or that was a journey. And even when you think you're like, oh, I finally learned everything, is, people, 90-year-old masters who are famous for saying, man, you played with everyone, you've done everything, you're such a master at what you do. No, I'm not a master yet. He's 90, and it's like, well, when are you going to be a master? Well, I got a little while to go still, So it's all an attitude thing, and it's like you'll always have something new to learn. And that's the beautiful, cool thing about, rhythm too, especially, can be very complex. We're not playing melody, but rhythmic phrasing can get if you've studied a Fibonacci sequence, if you know about Indian rhythms, how they use the Fibonacci sequence within their rhythms, so there's, it's a very precise, mathematical, intelligent, organized, unbelievable thing of the golden ratio and Fibonacci series. You'll find it in everything from entire galaxies to the neural networks in your brain, to the petals of a sunflower, to a conch shell design, to the design of continents, to the design of the planet. It's found in everything. So it's pretty unbelievable to, like, these cultures have known about this and incorporating them into their rhythmic styles for hundreds to thousands of years already. It's pretty cool. Like, you can levitate objects with sound alone, or take down an entire building with just sound waves. So frequency, the Tesla quote is, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So